Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some and peace out to the rest of you. You know who it is and you know what I'm here for. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the message. This one's going to be about another way to reach these young cats in person. At the end of the restriction era of COVID-19, whenever the restrictions are lifted for the final time and the spread of it is actually going down, families are going to get together, especially black families that are capable. They're going to get together. When they do, this is important. When these families get together, they're going to be some old cats, not much older than me, maybe just 4 years older than me and above. And they're going to hear us younger cats talking about what behaviors we observed during COVID-19 and its initial impact. Rent being due and no money coming in, and these broads hitting men up, talking about some, hey, big head, what you doing? They're going to be sitting up talking about this. When they do, these old cats are going to jump in and they're going to tell these young cats, if y'all just, stop complaining, just go to work every day and be a man and support your family, she's going to follow you. And I'm going to tell you what you do about that. Get a pen and paper if you think you'll forget these steps. I may forget them myself. So get a pen and paper because one day you may have to remind me. Number one, when these old men get to giving their sermons, let them finish. Look at your watch. Pass around a collection plate, do the whole, yes, Lord, shake your hands. You can mock them for time, but don't interrupt them. Let them finish. And then when they seem to be done, say, wait a minute, you done? Yeah, don't walk away, man. My turn. And so they have to return the favor now. And that's when you say to them a few key things. And I'm going to tell you why. First off, understand that you're really not telling them this to convince them. You're not going to be able to. You're telling them this because they're going to be younger male relatives at these get-togethers. And even younger female relatives at these family get-togethers. And they're going to be the ones to learn. First of all, the young ladies are going to understand, okay, wait a minute, all this game that mom and grandma and big sis been teaching me, he knows it. And I sat up here next to this cousin, so he knows it. So the guys are going to learn this. The secret's out. We might as well just go ahead and not even try this mess. Or if we do, expect to lose. And even then, that's not really the most important reason. It's going to be that young guy that's there. 14-year-old cousin, a nephew, a brother that's going to be there. And he's going to hear this. And that's really the reason why you're going to engage with these old cats. Then you start the engagement. After they've talked and you've listened and you told them and you asked them, are they finished? And they say, yeah. Then you go ahead and you say to them, okay, now, have you asked any nurses in these maternity wards about the rise in incest-related afflictions in black babies? No, it's okay. Okay, uncle. Okay, granddad. I mean, you didn't know, it's okay. I'm just asking in case you did know. If you didn't know, you just didn't know. But now I'm saying to you, go ahead and ask them about that. And ask how it is that a genetically diverse race of people can have a rise in afflictions that were previously associated with incest. That's because siblings have been getting together and they didn't know they were half siblings. That's what the problem is. They were unaware. Why were they getting together and they were unaware they were half siblings? It's because their mothers all wanted to F the same few men. So that's what that's about. So, and you can even say to them, when a girl comes home and tells her parents, look, I want y'all to meet somebody. He's so like me, it's odd. The dad wants to know who he is. If the mother wants to know who he is first, that's a good sign. But if her mother wants to know who his parents are first, especially who the dad is, that means that the mother's considering the possibility that her daughter is about to get with her own half-sibling unknowingly. And that means she was one of those that insisted on the same 13% of guys that every other woman wanted, and she indulged. That's what that means. That means that she herself suspects that dad might not actually be the father. You tell this game to him in front of the young brothers and the young sisters. And then you also say, okay, now there's more. Right now, 70% of divorces are requested by the wives. Now, uncle, granddad, check this out. I'm not saying uncle, granddad. That's incest right there. What I'm saying is either uncle or granddad, whoever you're going to be talking to, older cousin, take your pick. You're going to say to this old head. Now, we got stats on this stuff now that we didn't have before. 70% of divorces are requested by the wife. Now, we also know from dating sites that Western women only want the same 13% of men. We know that. College girls are now admitting that they accept a lot of dates from men just to get free dinner. Dinner dates with guys they don't really like, but he's going to pay for the food. A lot of college women are actually admitting to stuff like this. Even career women are admitting to this. So now we know certain games that are being played that were kept a secret when you were coming up. Here's something else too. Now this is going to really blow you away. You ask them this question I'm about to tell you, gentlemen, for this reason. All of us have been there. In middle school, we all remember that the girls would get together, huddle up, start talking and whispering, and you couldn't hear what they were saying. And if you did get close enough to hear, you couldn't make sense because it was a code, right? We've all been there. These old heads, they dealt with the same thing. So you ask them, remember when you were this young guy's age over here, and the girls would get together and huddle and talk, and you could never figure out what they were talking about. And whisper, and if you heard him, you couldn't understand it. He's going to have to nod his head unless he went to school with all boys. Or unless he grew up in a neighborhood where there were no girls or something like that. Otherwise, he's going to remember, yeah. You say, well, social media and the internet first and then social media by extension have exposed what they talk about in these situations. Really? Yes. They're pressuring each other as to which men to not get with and which men to compete for. They're competitive. They're not trying to divide the men among themselves. They're trying to eliminate most of them and leave some eligible for the rest of these broads to compete for. If it's 16 of them in a huddle, they're trying to compete for 3 men. That's what that's about. But they're also saying to each other, get that bag. Now, if it's get that bag, if it's not get that bag, then it's something else. Like, well, girl, all the other girls want him, so let's see who can get him. Something like that. It's always something shallow, but usually it's get that bag, especially when they get old and they're grown. Then it's get that bag. Girl, get that bag. And they're even saying lie about your age to get that bag if you think he wants them younger than you. But what they're saying is get that bag. And then in the hair salons, as they get older, they're sitting up and they're saying, well, this is the alimony law in this state. And this is these are the marriage and the divorce and alimony and child support laws in this state. That's what they're saying. They're talking to each other about this. They're coaching each other on how to get the most out of these men financially. Then if they can get that, they can go for the men that they want sexually but who have nothing else to offer, and they can indulge themselves with these guys using your money. That's the game, sir. You found auntie, you found grandmom in a different time, and I'm glad it worked out for y'all. For us, they are more vicious. So we got to protect ourselves. It is not as simple as you go out there, you work every day, you take care of your family, she's going to respect you. You go out there, you work every day, you still won't make enough to take care of your family because ain't nobody going to pay you enough to take care of the family. She ain't going to respect you even if you do take care of the family. And if you can afford to take care of everybody, then she has a financial incentive to divorce you when she's been married to you long enough to qualify for alimony. Because you maintained her lifestyle for so many years in a marriage, she can use that to get alimony out you. If you don't believe me, uncle or granddad or whoever, then do the research and see how many women are willing to sign a prenuptial agreement before they get married. Ask yourself why prenuptials ruin engagements. Then you'll see it. It's about the money. And it's damn near only about the money. And I, for one, uncle or granddad, don't see a reason that we should be required to sit there and accept being used only for money when they say to us, don't sexually objectify me. And then it's allowed for them to sexually and financially objectify us. So no, our generation's not gonna play that game anymore. It's a rigged game. They moved the goalposts. They changed the rules. You played it, and it was a different time. We ain't doing that. And if you don't believe me, and this is what you say, finally, last thing, you say to them, don't take my word for it. I know I'm younger than you. You ain't gonna believe nothing I say. Ask him in 5 years, or ask him when he's 22 or 23. Then ask him again when he's 28. How much of what I'm saying today has he witnessed to be true? He has no reason to lie for me. So just go ahead and ask him. I may not even be there at the time. So what you're doing, you in the audience listening to me right now, what you're doing is you're saying to the older relative, knowing you ain't gonna convince him, kind of a brief overview of what things are, and then you're telling him in front of the young cat to come check back with the younger cat. Now the younger cat's gonna hear your explanation. When he sees these games that these broads play, he's gonna know what the games are about. Then he's going to be able to come back and say to this old head later, if he sees him again and the old head's still around, he's gonna be able to say, I saw this, that, and the other that he was talking about, and it was true. Then when he's 28, if the old head's still around even then, he's gonna be able to say even more. I've seen this, and this, and he's right. I've seen these women that never slipped up. They were sluts, never slipped up, rode the carousel, screwed all kinds of cats. Found one guy they wanted to commit to. He didn't want to commit, now she's pregnant. That's what's going on. They'll even say, yeah, he was right, because this woman named Kay Michelle got on the radio and said it in Atlanta. She told the woman, if you got, you pregnant, you don't know which one of the two men it is, say that it belongs to the wealthy guy and hope he never finds out. This is what's, and the funny thing is, when this young cat does confirm this later, whether you're there or not, when he confirms this later, the aunt or the grandmother married to the old head is going to be the one that's not surprised. But the main thing is that you will have informed the young guy of what the games are. All he has to do then is look and see if it's true when he goes off to college or just finishes high school, middle school, even before high school, then finishes high school, then goes to college and finishes that, or trade school. He's going to have the explanation in his head already there as to why they play the games he knows they're playing. Why did she stand you up? Oh, I know why. And understand this too. Stephen Jackson illustrated it for us in his story about how he left that lady at the altar. That's the essence of the game right there. And not only that too, but also T.I., when he got with Tiny, his mother's reaction was something else too. So this is going to tell you a whole lot. Your utilities. And if they were honest and upfront about that, that would be okay, because then you can say to them, okay, your utilities too. The issue is that they're all in agreement that you are a utility, and they're also all in agreement that you're not to know you're a utility, and that they're not to be a utility. They're all in agreement about being unfair. The ones of them that are the nicer ones are the ones that just don't say anything about it. None of them betray this. That's the funny thing about it. Not one of them has come up and said, look, all human are utility. Not one of them has said this. Some of them will say, no, none of y'all really are. And others of them will just be quiet about it, but none of them have confessed to the game. This is everything right there. You got to understand that you're up against an intelligence network unlike any other, because none of them have come forward with the secrets. It's a man, see Boogie, that has come forward with the secrets and said, yeah, we wear masks. They wear masks. You're all utilities to them. And even he won't hold them accountable for that. He still wants to blame you. I hope that what I said is a benefit, and I hope that one day it won't be necessary anymore. Thank you for listening. The blackest of the black sign and blackout, assalamu alaikum, and black heterosexual broke dusty male power just because she don't like it.